June 17th, 1994 in the morning, you were at Robert Kardashian's house, were you not?
Yes.
Okay. And Bob Kardashian was there?
Yes.
Okay, and did you have any conversations with him that morning?
You can answer that yes or no, if you recall.
I'm sure I did. I don't recall, but I'm sure I did.
Okay, and you remember at least being in the room room sometime that morning at Kardashian's, do you not?
I don't really remember it. I do remember he and Shapiro coming to my bedroom. Other than that, I don't remember, what was going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by Shapiro, you mean Bob Shapiro, who was your attorney?
Yes.
Okay. And you recall seeing Dr. Henry Lee there that morning?
I don't really recall it, but I knew during the week at some point he was there. I don't totally recall that day too clearly, but maybe that was the day. But,
okay. Do you remember having some interaction with Dr. Henry Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Dr. Bodden, Michael Bond? Do you remember at some point on the 17th, first of all, seeing him?
I believe so.
Okay. Do you know if you saw him at any time prior to the 17th also?
If it was the 17th when I saw him, that was when I saw him. I don't, it's hard to tell if it was the day before or that day, but I only recall seeing him once, but I may have seen him more than once.
Okay, and you interacted with him in some capacity, did you not?
I believe so.
Okay. What about Dr. Fairstein? Remember him being at the house on the 17th?
I remember him. I don't know if he was there on the 17th, but I do remember him being around.
Okay, do you remember him being around in the day or two prior to that and having some conversations with him?
I know he was around that week, and I do recall having conversations with him.
Okay. What about Dr. Huizenga? Do you remember him being at the house on the morning of the 17th?
I really don't, but they tell me he was there, but
Okay.
I don't recall.
Do you remember seeing him at all that week?
I know I saw him in his office, for
Okay.
sure.
And you
Yeah.
had conversations with him?
I'm sure I did. I'm sure he asked me questions.
Okay. Now, prior to this week after June 13th, did you ever met Dr. Henry Lee before this?
No.
Ever heard of him?
Prior to this week, I believe I had. I believe I had.
Okay. What about Dr. Bodden?
I believe I had heard of him before this, yes.
Okay. What about Dr. Fairstein?
No.
Okay. Dr. Huizenga?
Yes.
Did you ever seen him before this week?
Yes.
And do you recall when that was?
Often with the Raiders.
Okay. He wasn't your personal physician, though, was he?
No.
Did you have a personal physician?
I don't believe so.
Well, you didn't have a family doctor then.
I did at one point, but he died. And then it was, most of my troubles was arthritic or orthopedic. So I had a doctor that I dealt with on those issues.
Do you remember Denise Halicki being at Kardashian's the morning of the 17th?
I don't recall her being there, but I'm sure she was.
Okay. Did you see her on the 15th and or 16th down at Kardashian's?
I believe I did.
Okay. That was Bob's then girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. Was AC down there on the morning of the 17th?
I don't know. I don't know what time we left the house, and I don't know what time of day that was, but he was definitely there then.
Okay. And Paula Barbieri was there that morning?
Yes.
When had Paula Barbieri arrived at Kardashian's home?
I don't know for sure, but it was right after my kids left.
On the 15th?
If that's the day it was.
Was that the day of the wake?
I don't know.
Okay. But she had been down there for a couple days.
What do you mean?
She had been down at Kardashian's for the last 2 days before the 17th?
Well, she came right after the kids left, and she was there until, right till the 17th, so whatever that is. I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, she spent the night before there, before the 17th?
She came, I know the day that the kids left, she came that day, and the 17th she left. I'm just not sure. I just can't recall which day that was, one day or the other.
Okay, did she stay overnight there?
Yes,
Okay. More than one night?
that's what I can't recall. Whatever day she got in, she stayed with me from that point on.
Now, you had indicated that on Mother's Day, 1994, I think you said you had a great day at the Browns?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you recall who was there at the Browns beside yourself and Nicole?
No, her family, the Brown family.
Okay, was AC there?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Do you remember anybody else besides family who was there?
No,
Do you know if Betsy Rocca was there?
I don't recall.
It's a rocket.
Rocket. And I think you indicated that you had gone shopping to buy all the Mother's Day presents?
It was Saturday.
Okay, do you recall what you bought them?
Yes,
What was that?
flowers.
Okay, bunches of flowers?
Yes.
And where had you bought those flowers?
Pardon me?
Where did you buy those flowers?
On PCH.
Okay, right across the way from the front entry to their residence?
No, I think it was closer to where I used to live.
Okay, it was a flower stand, wasn't it?
No, it was a flower shop.
Okay. You got down there to the Laguna early that Saturday morning, did you not, like 4 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And was there some reason you had to be there Saturday morning?
Yes.
And what was that for?
Sean was having his christening,
Okay.
or first communion. I don't know, it was something like that.
And had someone invited you to that?
Well, yeah, it was a family thing, and Sean was having his christening, and I came down. It's just something we always did when something was happening with the kids.
Okay. Did Nicole invite you to this?
Yes.
Did she
And
ever?
I believe the Brown family did too. It was a family thing. Sean's christening, and I said, I'll try to get down there. I don't know what time I'm going to get off work. And I made it down there.
Okay. Did Nicole ever indicate to you she didn't want you down there during the day that day?
No.
And you stayed at the condo you owned down there
Yes.
that Saturday night?
When I got in, yes. I got
Yeah.
in bed.
Is it a one-bedroom or two-bedroom condo?
2-bedroom.
And you never verbally confronted Nicole after she refused to go out to dinner with you that night, that Saturday night, did you?
We went out to dinner that Saturday night.
And did she ever initially indicate to you she didn't want to go out with you that night?
As I already testified here, when we got to the door, she freaked out and said, I can't do this. And I asked her, what's going on with you? And she couldn't answer that. And after we talked a bit, she calmed down. And we took some pajamas over to the kids, and we went to dinner.
Brio's, is that where you went?
Where?
Brio's?
I don't know.
You don't remember the name of the restaurant?
No. I had never eaten there before.
Okay. Do you recall where the kids slept that night after you'd been out to dinner?
I don't believe we picked them up that night. I'm not sure if we did or didn't.
Would it surprise you if you had picked them up that night?
No.
Well, would it surprise you had picked them up that night even after dropping off their pajamas that night?
No.
And it's your testimony that you had a normal Saturday evening dinner with Nicole?
We had a nice dinner.
When you came back from Puerto Rico, that was, was it May 1st or something?
I don't know whatever time it was. The
If I
weekend.
could just take a minute here.
Exact same.
Do you recall how long you'd been back from Puerto Rico prior to Christian's party?
I may have gotten back that day.
Okay. Do you recall that?
You guys talk about me all the time. Come on.
Oh.
Turn about is fair play.
And the alternative, if you're going to talk loudly enough so I can hear.
Yeah, they're making fun of me, that's all right.
I wouldn't make fun of you.
So that was the Saturday you got back from Puerto Rico, the Saturday of
I
Kristen's
believe
party?
so. I believe we went to the party that night.
Okay. Do you recall the following weekend, that would have been the Mother's Day weekend?
Yes.
That was when you were down at the Browns.
Yes.
Okay, do you recall where you were the weekend after that? And I'm talking about Saturday, Sunday now.
What do you mean the weekend after that?
Weekend
Were
after
you in
Mother's
town?
Day?
Weekend after Mother's Day, whether you were in town or not.
I think it was in New York.
Okay, do you know what for?
Hertz.
Okay, and that was over the weekend.
Yes.
And the weekend of after that, which would have been May 21st, 22nd, do you know whether you were in LA or not for that weekend?
Yes, for part of that weekend I was in LA.
Were you just getting back from somewhere that weekend?
Yes.
From where?
It's Friday, Thursday I may have gone to North Fork, Virginia.
And when did you get back?
Saturday.
Okay, afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you indicated that you had broken off with Nicole either Mother's Day or the day after?
I believe it was officially the day after, even though at dinner that night I told her I couldn't do it anymore, and she you know wasn't an asshole. Maybe that's why we had a good Mother's Day. And the day after Mother's Day, we
Before,
the
this
day
is a dinner at Brown's on Mother's Day that you told Nicole you couldn't do it anymore?
no
This is the day after.
no
Saturday before Mother's Day.
yes
Okay. And this is where you told her it was a hassle and you didn't think you could do it anymore.
exactly.
Okay,
But I think it was official 2 nights later.
okay. But when you told her this Saturday, it was nonetheless a civil conversation?
Yes. Yes.
Pleasant conversation.
Yes.
In fact, you said you had an enjoyable dinner?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't remember whether you picked the kids up or not?
No.
All right. And how did you make it official 2 days later?
We just was talking about everything and the kids, and I recall we both agreed that maybe we got together too soon, you know. And it was a conversation about, unlike the first split up, let's make sure that we stay very active together with the kids. We got very affectionate with each other, and we kind of teased because we said, well, we should break up 3 times a week and we'd have a great relationship, because we got sort of romantic that night. You know, it was
That was a
emotional.
Monday
It was
night?
that was Monday night, yes.
And where was that, at Bundy?
Monday, yes.
Okay. And were you over there for dinner?
Yes,
Okay, and the kids were with you too?
I believe so, yes.
And you put them to bed?
I think I may have left and come back, but I'm not 100% sure of that.
Going back to Rockingham? And
I believe so, because I believe so. Yes, I believe so.
okay. And was that prearranged when you left that you were going to be coming back?
Well, I said I had to go do something. I'll be back, because we wanted to talk about some things. Yeah.
Okay. Now, after this Monday night interlude conversation, do you remember when you next saw Nicole?
I'm sorry. After this Monday night, what conversation?
Interlude
Thank you.
and conversation. Do you recall when you next saw Nicole?
Not exactly, but a few times that week.
And that was before you left town that weekend?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall where you saw Nicole?
I think I had dinner there one night, and I think they were at my house one day after school.
And the kids were with Nicole that weekend when you were gone,
Good weekend.
the 15th.
Certainly Friday night. I just can't recall Saturday and Sunday night. I just don't recall Saturday and Sunday night, because I know I had the kids all day Sunday, and Sunday night I believe they spent the night with me.
Okay.
So
Right. Do you know about what date Nicole got sick with double pneumonia?
You know what? I'm a week ahead. Let me go back a week. I'm a week ahead. No, I'm a week ahead of the game right now. Tell me what you're asking
You know
about.
what, would it help your recollection, Mr. Simpson, to look at your calendar a little bit?
Kathy's calendar, yeah.
Kathy's
This
calendar.
is Exhibit 8A.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just take a minute.
No.
Not that we haven't been through this.
No.
That's pretty funny. He's whacked up. Missed his calling.
Absolutely lost it. I mean, there's
I'll give you a copy.
there's
I'll give an assist.
absolutely
Was that
no.
your idea?
No, but he was, never mind.
You definitely get an assist. You got your picture, he says.
Anyway. Off the record for a second, when you said you're a week ahead,
Yeah,
you're still,
Wait, let's break for a minute.
5-minute break. Can we take a 5-minute break?
you're not a week off on the 9th. That's,
Oh, no.
Now, Mr. Simpson, you've had the opportunity to look over your calendar for May of 1994.
Yes.
Okay, and I believe you indicated that.
Kathy Randa's calendar, actually.
Kathy Randis.
Mhm.
Okay. But that, looking over that, basically represents your calendar for the month of 1994, as you recall it.
Yes.
And after looking at it, are you clear now that it was May 14th and 15th you were in New York?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall whether that was Sydney's first communion that weekend also?
It was.
Okay, and were you there for that?
I couldn't get out of my commitment.
Okay, but you had been at Sean's weekend before, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you had indicated that after the Monday night, May 9th,
Mhm.
when you had been with Nicole, you had dinner with her another night that week also?
And I see here we did a few other things together that week too, but Monday night, yes, I believe so. Monday afternoon, Monday night.
Oh, so what else did you do that week?
We went to a talent show for Sydney together.
What night was that?
That would have been a day, that was called Thorpe. That would have been that day.
The 9th.
That would have been the 11th.
Okay, and what else that week?
As I said, I had dinner at her house one night that week.
In addition to the 9th?
Pardon me?
In addition to your dinner there on the 9th, you were
I
there another
believe-
night that week.
Yeah, I believe so.
Do you know what night that was?
I don't know. It was just, I know that week one day they were at my house and one night I was at their house.
Well, you were there Monday night, the day after Mother's Day, for sure. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
And I think you said you were there another night also.
Yes.
What? Do you know what night that was?
No, I just know I had dinner there early one night and one night they were at my house.
So 3 nights that week, you had dinner together with Nicole and the kids?
It could have been. I can't recall if they ate at my house, but 2 or 3 nights that week, 2 or 3 days that week, we definitely saw one another. Yes.
Okay. And were those pleasant get-togethers with you and Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. No problems.
No problems.
Okay. Now, after reviewing Kathy Randa's journal,
Mhm.
and seeing that you were in New York on the 15th, does that refresh your recollection at all as to when Nicole got sick?
When I came back from New York, she was going to the doctor and when I talked to her from New York, and I told her, boy, you sound bad. And she said, yeah, she may have caught a cold. And then when I came back, she was in real bad shape and she was going to the doctor.
So she She sounded like she had a cold before you left for New York, and after
No, while I was in New York, and I talked to her, and she sounded that she really had a bad cold, and I, at the time, I don't know, it just sounded bad. I was teasing her, saying, you must be partying too much, because she sounded real raspy. And then when I came back, she told me she was sick, and we were going to the doctor.
Bless you.
Get a picture of that.
That was, timing was excellent.
And you got back the night of the 15th? Is that when you, from New York?
I may have came back on the 16th.
Okay.
No.
And you said you nursed Nicole while she was sick.
Yes, while I was in town that week, every morning I would bring her, I would pick up her scones and stuff. Even if I played golf, I'd do it right after. I'd call her and see how she was doing.
I'm sorry,
And
pick up her...
Scones and coffee that she liked. I bought her some flowers, and I bought her some soup a couple of times that week. And a couple of nights that week, at least one night that week, she had a real bad cough, and I ended up going to the market to get her some cough syrup.
Okay. So you were over there every morning of that week, Monday to Friday?
Monday I couldn't have been there, so I wasn't there Monday. Tuesday afternoon, I think I bought her soup. Wednesday morning, I definitely bought her coffee. Maybe brought some flowers too on Wednesday. And that afternoon, I took care of the kids and everything, I believe, with dinner and whatever she needed. Thursday, I think again, I know I ended up Thursday night getting her a cake and, you know, gifts from the kids, and the four of us had a little birthday thing at her house.
This was on her birthday, the 19th?
Yes.
Okay, was anybody there besides her and the kids?
No.
Did you have dinner together?
I think I bought dinner. I'm not sure. I believe her mother may have been there during the day, that day.
Okay, wasn't her mother there several days that week, if you recall?
No.
Just one day?
I was there Wednesday and her mother wasn't there. I was there Tuesday and her mother wasn't there. I think on her birthday, Judy came.
Okay.
And then I don't know what Judy might have done after that.
Okay,
And Judy wasn't around that night at all.
the night of her birthday?
Yes. And
Okay.
she wasn't there Wednesday when I was there, and she wasn't there Tuesday when I was there.
How long were you there Tuesday?
I don't know. She was really sick. I just went by.
More than an hour?
I don't know. I don't recall.
You weren't there all day?
No, it was in the afternoon.
Okay, you weren't there all day Wednesday, were you?
No, it was in the afternoon.
You weren't there all day Thursday?
All day?
Yeah.
No.
You weren't there all day Thursday?
You just asked that.
You did. And what about Friday?
Friday, no.
Okay. And that week, and I'm talking about the 16th up through the 19th of her birthday, did you see Cece there at the house at all?
Not at all.
Was Elvia there?
She might have been. I don't recall.
You don't recall seeing her at all that week?
No, she might have been there because she worked during the week, but I probably just didn't pay any attention. And normally by the time I got there, she was out of the way because we'd eat and then we'd go upstairs and I guess she would clean up the kitchen. But I may have seen her, but I don't recall.
Okay. Did she have a room she stayed in there?
Yes.
And it was back off the kitchen?
No, it was downstairs.
At the garage level?
Yes.
Okay. And did Elvia work for anybody besides Nicole during that time?
I have no idea.
Do you know whether Elvia worked for the Fishmans?
No.
No, she didn't?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay. Did you ever see Faye during that week when you were over at the house?
Not at all.
Did you ever see Cora that week?
I don't believe so. I never saw anybody at her house.
Okay. Didn't see her sisters?
Definitely not.
Okay. Now that weekend after her birthday, May 21st, 22nd?
Yes.
Were you in town that weekend?
Part of it.
When you say part of it, what do you
I
mean?
came back Saturday night.
From?
Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. Did the kids stay over Saturday night?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Did you see them Sunday?
Yes, they were with me all day.
At Rockingham?
Yes.
And was Paula there that day?
No.
It's just you, Sydney, and Justin?
And 300 other people, 300 to 400 other people.
And what was that for?
Justin's preschool. I give a picnic every year for the preschool to help raise money for the school.
Okay, is that a catered affair?
Yes.
Okay, was Nicole there that day?
She came for a while, yes.
Was she still sick then?
She was getting over sickness, and she was, I think it was her first time out since she got sick.
And was there a time that you and Nicole were alone during that day?
A couple of times. Well, yes, a couple of times.
Okay, could you tell me when the first time was?
The first time is when she went upstairs and got in my bed.
Okay, she wasn't feeling well?
She got a little tired.
How long had she been there for?
I don't know. She was during the course of the day, and she had been there a few hours, I guess. I can't recall exactly how long she had been there.
Okay. By the way, who made the arrangements for this event at your house that day?
In the past, Nicole would have. In this trip, I think they had a committee at the school that did.
That was the first time?
Pardon me?
This was the first time a committee did it?
Well, I think there was a committee in the past. Nicole just didn't like working with people. So even though it was a committee, she would do most of it. The year before, I don't think Nicole was involved at all. The year we were apart, she wasn't involved at all. She just attended it. And this year, I don't think she was really involved either. I think it was a committee that did it.
Okay. What time did that start, that event?
I don't know.
Or was it an afternoon thing?
No, it started in the, the people were all there that was working it was there in the morning, the caterers, the people with the games and things, and I gather people start coming around 11 or 12.
Do you remember what time Nicole got there?
No.
Do you remember approximately what time it was that she went up to your room?
It was in the afternoon.
Did she tell you she was going up there?
She was actually laying on me on the couch. I was watching the basketball game with some people, and she said she was feeling cold, and she went upstairs and got in my bed.
And who were you watching the game with?
Just fathers were coming in and out. Every year this event always happens in the middle of the championship series, and
Is that what this was? Was this Houston Knicks at this time?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I always turn my TV on and leave the doors open and let the fathers know if they're into basketball, they can go in and watch.
Okay.
Yeah, may have been semis, but it was in NBA. I know that, and they were coming in. Various people were coming in and out watching the game.
And after she indicated she was going upstairs, had you had any conversations with her before this? Private conversations that day?
Well, by private, we laid in the grass and talked, and a couple of people joined us from time to time. And then I went in and watched the game, and at one point she came in.
Okay, how
laid
long was
down.
she downstairs before she headed up?
I don't know. I don't know what time she got there, so it's hard for me to answer that.
Okay. Did you go upstairs and talk to her at all when she was up in your room?
At one point, I went up to see how she was doing.
Did you talk at all, or you just...
We talked.
Checked
How you
on her.
doing? How you doing? I was always like saying, Nicole, you got to really watch what you're doing. Well, I mean, just yes.
Okay. Did, there came a time that day when she gave a bracelet back to you?
I believe that night,
Okay, was that at your place?
her place.
Okay, do you recall what time she had left your place in Rockingham?
No.
Approximately?
No.
Do you recall what time this event ended?
4:35, something like that.
Okay, and did you stay while they cleaned up afterwards?
I don't think I stayed around when they cleaned up. I may have taken the kids somewhere while they were doing that.
Okay. And did there come a time you took the kids back to Nicole's then?
I believe so.
Could you approximate what time that was that you took the kids back to Bundy?
I don't know. I don't have a clear picture of exactly what happened late in the afternoon that day.
By the way, do you recall which car you drove over to Bundy that night?
No.
Okay. You have no recollection at what time you got over to Bundy
No.
that evening? Do you know if it was after dark or not?
I know I was there when it was dark because at some point the kids were asleep.
Okay. Well, you didn't have dinner over there, did you?
No, I think I took the kids to dinner.
And then when you took them home, you went in with them?
Yes.
Did Nicole know you were coming in at that time?
She knew I was bringing the kids. Yes.
Okay. Would you generally, when you drop them off at the end of a weekend, come in with them?
Not in the year that we were not together. At least at one point, latter part of that.
We're talking 92.
Yeah, the latter part of more the early of '93, I wouldn't. Latter part of '92, early '93, I wouldn't. All the other time we were together, yes, of course I would, even if I wasn't staying. And at this point in time, right up until approximately a little after this time, I would, yes.
Okay. So when you got there that night, what happened?
I think we went in, and you know, she was feeling.
By the way, did you
tired.
come to the front or back?
I don't remember.
Okay.
And we put the kids to sleep. I think I fell asleep in Justin's bed.
You did?
I believe I did for a little bit.
With Justin?
I normally, if I start reading him a story or something, I have a history of falling asleep before he does. But at one point I woke up and I went in and Nicole was watching TV.
Okay. And what happened then?
We just started talking about things. And we
This
just
is
started
in her
talking.
bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And you have no idea what time it was?
I can guess 9:30, 10 o'clock. You know,
Okay.
it's just a guess.
Okay. And could you give me the substance of the conversation?
Her health, my TV.
Was your TV in her bedroom?
Yes.
In what context did your TV come up?
She was saying how she got used to having the TV in the bedroom. She was asking me at one point if I wanted the TV because she finally got to the point where she liked the TV in the bedroom. She never did in all the years I knew her before then.
Had she ever offered your TV back to you before that night in all the years you knew her?
She never had my TV before in all
Well,
the
when did
years
she
I
get
knew
it?
her. I had bought it a few months previous to this.
Okay. She never offered it back to you before that night, had she?
There was no reason to.
I don't know that she offered it back yet.
Yeah, she was just saying she was used to having a TV in her room.
Okay.
And I was telling her, well, I actually think I told her I would trade TVs with her because I like the headphone aspect of this TV.
That she had?
Yeah.
Okay. What else did you talk about?
She talked about this bracelet that I didn't really buy it for her. I told her, I didn't say anything. I had no comment. And then she said, you really didn't buy it for me, and I had no comment, and she didn't feel right having it. And I took it. I accepted it. And then I think I said something about the earrings. We talked about a lot of just menial stuff, I guess. You know, people, what was going on.
Well, how'd you work up to the bracelet aspect of the conversation?
I don't know. She said something about the bracelet, that you didn't really buy me that bracelet, did you? Because she was, even the day I gave it to her, she was surprised.
Was it a tennis bracelet?
No.
Could you describe it to me?
I think it was sapphires and diamonds. It was kind of an antique, sort of an Art Deco piece. And she she didn't think I bought it for her, and she couldn't understand why I had bought it for her. And I told her the kids bought it for you. She says, you didn't really buy me this, and I didn't say anything. And so she gave it back to me, and I was sort of glad to get it back.
Oh, yeah. Who did you buy that bracelet for?
Paula.
When did you buy it?
I think on the 19th.
Okay. When you spoke to the police on the 13th, who did you tell them you had bought the bracelet for?
I said I'd given Nicole a bracelet, and she had given it back. They had asked me about the bracelet as if it was something, and I just said, hey, it was a bracelet I had given her, and she gave it back to me.
Well, you sort of elaborated when you were talking to Lang and Van Adder about how you had bought that for Nicole and were in a tight spot because of that, because you'd taken it back and given it to Paula, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, and that actually wasn't true then when you told the Lang and Van Adder that you had bought it for Nicole, was it?
That's correct.
Okay. When did you give that bracelet to Paula, by the way?
Probably the next day.
Are you certain about that, or you just think it wasn't?
Well, the next time I saw her, I gave it to her,
Okay.
which would have probably been the next day. I don't think I saw her on the 22nd. She might have been out of town. I'm not sure. But within the next day or two, I did see her, and I gave it to her.
Okay. And had Nicole ever given you any jewelry back before she gave you back this bracelet?
I hadn't brought her jewelry in a while, so I would say no.
Ever?
There was no need to. We were always together whenever I gave her jewelry before.
Okay. And the earrings, you had bought her a pair of earrings years earlier originally, hadn't you?
Yes.
Okay. And the set that you asked back for were a replacement pair?
Yes.
And when had you given her that replacement pair?
It wasn't that I gave it to her. When we had got back together, at one point she told me she had lost these other earrings, which I knew were her favorite earrings. An earrings I had designed and made for her. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Question, when had you given her that replacement pair?
I hadn't.
Who did?
The jeweler.
Do you know how long ago that had been?
Not too much sooner than this time, I would imagine, because I think the first time not too much sooner than this time.
Like within the last couple weeks?
It could have been. I'm not sure. I just wasn't around, so I'm not sure.
Okay. And where did you buy this cigarette lighter you gave Nicole for her birthday?
Cartier.
Okay. And she kept that?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't generally like Nicole smoking, did you?
No.
In fact, you had a no smoking sign in your bathroom at Rockingham?
No.
Her bathroom?
No.
Now, I think you said those earrings, you just stated that they were a favorite design?
I had designed them for her once before, and she really loved them.
Okay. And you had given them to her in what year, do you know?
No.
Okay, they meant a lot to her?
The first pair, yes.
Yeah, and these were identical to those?
Well, I tried to get them designed to be right, and they were very close.
Okay. All the jewelry Nicole had, these were her most favorite item?
I can't say that, because there's some jewelry that I know she loved that she never wore because they were too expensive, but she really liked these earrings.
They meant a lot to her?
Yes.
Okay. And you asked her for those earrings back that night?
Yes.
Okay. And was that the first time you'd ever asked Nicole back for jewelry?
I really didn't ask for it. I'm wrong. Let me amend this. I didn't ask for the earrings back, no. That's wrong. I did not ask for the earrings back.
Well, what happened?
She gave them to me.
Just out of the blue, or was there any discussion about it, or what?
No, she owed me some money, and she didn't have the money, and she gave me the earrings.
Did you ask her for the money?
Yes. I said, yes, I did. I asked her for a check, and she said she spent it or something.
So in the context of a
I know we have.
excuse me?
We've been all through this.
I don't think we have, Mr. Baker.
Yes, we have.
That's why he whispered in your ear. That's why Petrocelli whispered in your ear, because we've been all the way through this. That he asked her for the check.
No, I
and-
know we,
The money or the check?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Money to
the money
check.
or the earrings?
I
No,
saw
he
that.
didn't say that.
No, I know,
I
you're
said,
right.
Give me the
That's what-
replacement check. We've been all through this.
Yeah, you're
Come
right,
on,
we
guys.
have been
It's
all
day
through this.
9.
Your life. It's like that old Jack Benny joke.
Yeah. Not funny here.
It's not funny here,
It's not. And how long was the total conversation up in her bedroom before you left with the earrings, as opposed to the money?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Well, how long were you in her bedroom talking to her before you left?
For a while, because I laid on her bed with her and watched something that she was watching the end of. And I'd say after I got out of Justin's room and went to her room, about an hour.
Okay. And when you left there, you had the earrings and the bracelet.
Yes.
Okay. And did you consider that sort of a final break-off between you and Nicole?
No.
Did there ever, before June 12, 1994, come a time that you considered a final break-off between you and Nicole?
Yes.
And what date was that?
The day after Mother's Day.
Okay, there was that dinner over at Nicole's house?
Yes, it was. It may have been Mother's Day night, but I believe it was the day after Mother's Day, and and it was then that
He didn't ask you what
okay.
you did. He just
then
said, when was
in
it?
my mind, it was over.
I'm here to listen,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Baker, if he wants to.
Yeah, it was in my mind. It was over then. And I'm sure in hers too. We went elsewhere. We went in different directions at that point.
Okay,
But
so
we were still friends.
Okay, so you didn't see this May 22nd date as a significant date at all?
No, I thought it was a nice night. We were very pleasant with one another,
Okay. and-
just like we had been for the previous, 10 days
Okay.
or so.
Do you recall when you were talking to the police on June 13th, 1994, they asked you when you had broken up with Nicole?
No, I don't really recall that. No.
Do you recall at all when you were talking to the police on the 13th, telling them how long or what time previously you had broken up with Nicole again?
I may have told them a month before.
If you don't
have it?
recall, just tell him
I
you
don't
don't
recall.
recall, OJ.
I don't recall.
We have Exhibit 101,
Mm-hmm.
police statement. Do you have a copy there? Do we have it?
No.
Have an extra copy if you want. Do you want me to do that?
Oh. Yeah, you better, unless you have an extra copy.
Yeah. Okay. Here you go.
Page 3.
Three.
Starting line 19. This is you speaking. About us trying to get back together. And we gave it a shot, and we gave it a shot the better part of a year. Response, and your response again. And I think we both knew it wasn't working, and probably 3 weeks ago or so we said it just wasn't working. Do you remember giving that answer to the police that day?
I don't remember, but that's obviously what I said.
Okay, and I'd ask you to turn to page 27. Actually, 26, bottom. Line 25. This is you speaking now. For about a year, in the last 6 months it hadn't been working, so we tried various things. Police response, You, to see if we can make it work. We started trying to date and it wasn't working, and so, then we just said to hell with it, Police, and that was about 3 weeks ago. You, yeah, about 3 weeks ago. It was like it just stopped happening.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember giving the response
Yes.
in answer to the police questions?
Yes.
And do you recall now that you when putting a breakup of you and Nicole in a time frame, you put it 3 weeks prior to June 13th, 1994?
Yes, I mean, that was an estimate, but I think I was a little more definitive at other times with them, telling them right when I got back from San Juan, it was virtually over, and we split up. So it was a guess at the time. You know, I didn't have a calendar in front of me.
Okay. Prior to August 1989, there was a full antenuptial agreement in place between you and Nicole, was there not?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I think it was August 1989 where Nicole signed off on that one-page letter saying that if you ever physically assaulted her or something, would void the antenuptial agreement. You recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Prior to her signing that and giving it to you, you had an antenuptial agreement in place, did you not?
Yes.
Okay. And was it your understanding that after your divorce became final in 1992, your antenuptial agreement with Nicole was inapplicable anymore?
Well, if you have an opinion, that calls for a legal conclusion, I think.
I don't understand.
Well, after you were divorced, an antenuptial agreement meant nothing, correct?
Yes, I wasn't married to anyone, so yes.
Okay.